All right. Good evening, baseball fans. At least maybe the one or two that might show up. I know tonight's the home run derby for the 2023 All-Star game. Eh, home run derbies. Get to see enough home runs in the regular season, so I'm not too concerned about those. But I thought we'd do some old-timey baseball here tonight. So we're in Game 2 in this KCCL 19th Century Dead Ball Tournament. Um, this is the 1894 Baltimore Orioles and the 1884 Providence Grays. The Orioles holding a one-game to nothing lead. This is a best of seven in this round. The other night we saw the Cubs just absolutely of 1907 and 1908 Cleveland Navs, and the Cubs are such a strong team. So let's get to it. Just a couple announcements, though. What's got happening around our little baseball community within the YouTube sports gaming community. Shanks 3.0 is going to be starting very soon. And what's nice about that for you guys that want to get involved with it, it's going to take the only commitment that you'll have to it is just be there on draft night. That's all it is, and the draft is going to be a lot of fun. You're going to be given a random year and a team from that year, and you pick a player, pitcher, whatever, position player, pitcher. Anyhow, then you're going to have a 25-man roster, 5-man reserves, I think it is, and then yeah, and then basically there's going to be another night where there's just going to be a big brouhaha. Everybody's going to have some fun, get a bunch of people on mic, and just watch the season sim through. So it's not going to be like the other one. I think it'll be a lot of fun and a great way to dig into some baseball history. So if you're interested, um, you might want to let Big Clue know. Also, for those in the Ned McGreevy Discord, Big Clue put an invitation in there and put a thread to it if you'd like to join up. It'll be fun. Again, the most you're probably going to have to put into this is maybe 2.5 to 3 hours for the draft. And then how long does it take to play through a season? To sim it through with a game, 10 minutes. So I think it'd be a lot of fun. So for those of you that want to dig into baseball, you never know what you're going to get, and that's what's going to be fun. Again, the time frame is going to be 1880 to 2022. Um, and there's not going to be any years as far as I know. Again, Big Clue would have more information on this, but a lot of fun. No limit to Hall of Famers this time because of the way the draft is going to work. All right, that being said, the Ned McGreevy League, I'm hoping to maybe just do a little broadcast this week. I'm not stupid enough to do tomorrow night, so because of the All Star game itself, I'm guessing a lot of people watching this, so watching that. So hopefully Wednesday night, there'll be a little stream. Maybe we'll just let pick a game on Back to Baseball and let it run in the background or something while we're talking about the McGreevy League and see what we're going to do with that moving forward. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I'd thought about stealing back from the Shanks thing and doing, again, random year and you got to pick a team, but I think we're just going to do it as a straight up draft again. Um, it's just, I think, too tricky for people to try to do it the other way. And besides, you're only talking, again, 1880 to 1919. Um, but this time, Babe Ruth will be allowed. So that will be one change in the McGreevy League if you're lucky enough to get Babe Ruth. And since it's dead ball era, you're going to have to draw the Red Sox in the 1910s. So Babe Ruth 1914 to 1919. So if you get one of those years, draft the Bambino, I guess. So had thought about moving it, including the 1920s into it, but I think we've got something good here, and we already have. We're going to be releasing players once this is over into the new McGreevy Draft League. We maybe talk about what teams that we want to include to have some more players and things like that. So that is coming up. In the meantime, let's get to the business at hand and let's play some old timey baseball. All right, so here's our playoff bracket, and as mentioned, the 1907 Chicago Cubs, a 2 games to nothing lead over the Cleveland Naps. The game will go to Cleveland for Game 3, or giving them time to take the train from the Windy City to Cleveland. So we'll be revisiting this again. Probably no baseball tomorrow night, I guess, with the All-Star game. I don't even know where it's being held this year. That's how little I pay attention to the All-Star game. But tonight, it's the 1894 Baltimore Orioles, 1884 Providence Grays. The Baltimore Orioles with a 1-game-to-nothing lead. We are in round 3 of this tournament, and each of these are best of 7. The first one is a best of 3. Second round was best of 5, and now it's best of 7. So the two teams that make it through to round 4, best of the best. And let's go. Hopefully we'll see Cousin Ken here tonight. Providence will be the human team, and here we go. All right. And if Ken was here, I'm sure he'd want Radbourne pitching. But we're going to go ahead and start Ed Conley. As Conley is, Sweeney got some work the other night, so it's going to be Ed Conley. And here we go. We're using Huntington Avenue grounds for this. We're going to pretend this is Messer Street Field, though, which was the home for the 1884 Providence Grays. Let's look at the starting defense here. For the Grays in left field, Cliff Carroll. In center, Paul Hines. In right, Paul Radford. From first to third, Joe Start at first base. A superb player, by the way. Jack Farrell at second. Arthur Irwin at short. Jerry Denny at third. Barney Gilligan catching. And Ed Conley pitching. And the man himself is here. So I'm going to switch up these options here. And, oh, no, it is. It's already, Providence already the human team. So, Ken, I don't know if you're just stopping in to say hi. Yeah, it is. It's much better. Thank you. And you're going to go watch the home run derby, but I wanted to get in a game tonight. Hey, there's Dwayne Martz. He said, hello, everybody. Just got done doing a 1961 Braves game. Welcome in, Dwayne. And as I told you, I'll be catching more of your content, but caught your latest one. Very, very, very good stuff, man. So, guys, subscribe to the Dwayne Martz YouTube network. So, no home run derby. I'm guessing I'm probably not going to do any baseball tomorrow night because all you guys are going to be watching the All-Star game, which means I'll probably be watching a movie or something. I'm not interested in the All-Star game anymore. Used to be, but it's just, to me, it's just kind of a strange baseball game. All right, let's get to it now. Ed Conley's numbers in this tournament, a 4.32 under an average with a win and a loss, or no losses, I should say. 8 1/3 innings pitched. He's walked 4, struck out 8. In the tournament, batting average against him is .294 with a whip of 1.68. In 1884, a 2.15 under an average, even win-loss record at 4, 71 innings pitched, 22 walks and 33 strikeouts. Before we get on with this, just to let you know, for those of you for Action PC Baseball, Steve Tate came in and did a lengthy and in-depth tutorial about ballparks and errors and stuff like that. Definitely check it out to get more out of this excellent baseball simulation. I played a couple games of Out of the Park offline today. It was a lot of fun. But anyhow, back to it. So again, Ned McGreevy, I'm hoping to hold a Wednesday night kind of chin wag on Ned McGreevy. And I'm just going to pick some game from the past, maybe the 1919 World Series. Have that just on. There's no sound, but have that on in the background for people to watch while we talk about what we're going to do with the next McGreevy. As far as Shanks 3-0, again, if you want to get involved, get in touch with Big Clue. This one is going to just require you to be at the draft, and then the next night or whatever, the season will be simmed out. Just have a good time playing baseball and a little bench jockeying. Yep. So no baseball tomorrow night. I'm going to play baseball offline, but nothing on the channel. So I can't compete with the All-Star game. Only our Red Sox fan can do that. So, and um, Ron Juckett. All right, Joe Kelly here leads it off. Kelly is hitting 350 with 11 runs batted in. Conley has finished his warm-up pitches. And let's have a look at the weather here at Messer Street. In the great state of Rhode Island, which, of course, back then, it was only until recently, the tiny state of Rhode Island at one time had the longest name of any state. So let us check our weather here. It's a rather brisk 49 degrees, and the winds are 9 miles per hour in from left center. And here we go. As Conley has finished his warm-up pitches, Kelly in there in the 0-2 delivery. Now from Ed Conley, fastball, and Joe Kelly looks at a call, strike 3, and that was call coming a little late from the umpire. We have 2 umpires today in this game, a lot at stake, so 2 umpires in our ball game. All right, Conley now waits as John McGraw settles himself in the box, batting from the right-hand side. Little Napoleon hitting 286 in this tournament. He has 6 runs batted in, 4 stolen bases. Conley brings it to McGraw, fastball, and this one past Farrell at second into center field to Paul Hines for a base hit. So McGraw is aboard, Hines up with it quickly into Arthur Irwin at short. So 1 out and 1 on for the great Dan Bruthers, who is having an absolutely incredible tournament. He is hitting 462, 2 home runs and 7 runs batted in. I would look for McGraw to be off with this pitch here. Gilligan sets. Conley likes the sign, and here is the pitch. There goes McGraw. The throw down by Gilligan, and the pitch out. Still nothing doing. McGraw having an incredible jump off the first sack. And John McGraw now in scoring position with 1 down. The lefty Bruthers is back in the box. Here is the delivery. Oh, throw back, spin and throw back as Farrell was coming in. Jack Farrell getting behind McGraw, but McGraw diving back under the tag. So quick move there by Ed Conley to try to nail John McGraw. All right, the 1-0 coming home now to Bruthers. Fastball and high fly ball to center field. Paul Hines has it between his hands, and John McGraw will hold second. So 2 down. Big play there. Big play there to get Bruthers out. And here's Wee Willie Keeler, who's a thorn in everybody's side. A 364 average in this tournament. Keeler has batted in 5 thus far. Or 6, I'm sorry. Conley brings it. The 1-1 to Keeler. Fastball popped behind the plate. Barney Gilligan back, but it looks like he is going to run out of real estate here in the back 40. So Gilligan back in here. And the 1-2 pitch with McGraw in scoring position. Conley brings it. Keeler chopping ground ball to first. Joe Start will underhand toss to Ed Conley. And for that is the out for the 3-1 put out. Ends the inning. So for the Baltimore Orioles of 1894, no runs, 1 hit, no errors. And after 1/2 inning, Baltimore nothing. The Providence Grays are coming to bat. Robbie Wartburg is joining us here tonight at Messer Street. Starting lineup now for the 1894 Baltimore Orioles. A fantastic book written about them that I urge you to pick up. It's called Where They Ain't. I think you'll love it. All right, Joe Kelly in left field. Steve Brody in center. Wee Willie Keeler in right. From first to third, Dan Bruthers at first base. Heine Reitz at second. Huey Jennings at short. John McGraw at the hot corner. Wilbert Robinson catching. And Kid Gleason taking the mound and pitching. So we have 2 rather famous managers here in this battery. Wilbert Robinson, of course, longtime manager of the Brooklyn squad. Named after him, Kid Gleason, of course, managing a very infamous White Sox team in the dead ball era. So Gleason in the tournament, a 5.82 earned run average, 2 wins, no losses. Gleason has worked 17 innings, walked 1, struck out 4. Don't be alarmed by the high earned run average for these Baltimore Orioles. It's been the offense, but their pitching has been pretty good. Nothing has compared yet to the war that they've had earlier in our tournament with the 1885 White Stockings. In 1894, Kid Gleason with a 4.45 earned run average. He went 15 and 5, worked 172 innings, walked 44, struck out 35. National League hitting 320 against Gleason in that far ago year, forever ago, isn't it? All right, here is Paul Hines. Paul Hines hitting 259, a home run, 6 runs batted in. He will lead it off here for the Providence Grays. And he'll be followed by Joe Start and Cliff Carroll. All right, Gleason now with the 1-2 delivery. Fastball to Paul Hines. And this one stroked solidly to center field. Paul Hines making the turn at first, slides, and he is safe. So a leadoff double for the Providence Grays. So 1 hit each for these teams as first baseman Joe Start is in there now. Joe Start hitting 407. In this tournament. So Joe Start's been able to get runners moved around, and that's exactly what Providence is hoping for. And Ken Castro calling for the sacrifice. All right. Kid Gleason brings it home. Start gets a good bunt down, and the throw to first with Reitz covering, and moving to third on the play. Perfectly executed sacrifice is Paul Hines. So the potential first run of this game 2, just 90 feet away, as switch hitting a left fielder, Cliff Carroll, stands in the box. Carroll, in this tournament, batting at a 250 clip. He has 2 runs batted in. So Hines easing down the line some. Kid Gleason works out of the stretch in the 0-2 to Cliff Carroll. Changeup. And Carroll sends this to center field. Brody tracking it in center to his left. Tagging and coming home to score is Paul Hines. And thanks to the sacrifice, it is now 1-0 Providence in the bottom of the first. 2 out here for catcher Barney Gilligan. Gilligan hitting an even 200 with 5 runs batted in. And 2 runs scored, bases empty. Providence looking to tie this series up. Gleason deals. Gilligan swings in the first pitch. This one strokes solidly up the middle. Should be a base hit, but Brody booted the ball and has to chase it back towards center. Gets it in quickly. Barney Gilligan with a single and score that one in E8. Game's first error, and that one on Baltimore center fielder Steve Brody. And another runner in scoring position with 2 down now as Jerry Denny steps in, hitting just 107. 5 runs batted in. Jerry Denny does have a home run. All right, Kid Gleason with the stretch and the delivery, the 1-0. Jerry Denny, chopper to first. Dan Bruthers will glove it and run to the bag himself to retire Jerry Denny. However, 1 run, 2 hits. There was 1 Baltimore error by Steve Brody. We've played 1 complete here at Messer Street, and it's the Providence Grays 1 and the Baltimore Orioles nothing. So when I talk about these books, I know that a lot of them, like Crazy 08 and Tales from the Deadball Era, kind of out of the wheelhouse of the community. But I'm hoping that you'll give them a read. It's about baseball and very, very wonderful times of baseball, and hope you enjoy them and learn about some of the great players from the 19th century, Deadball Era, and even moving forward. Picked up a story about the Gas House Gang Cardinals, which I'm doing a replay, an actual season replay, if you can believe it, out of the park, the 1934 Gas House Gang. All right, we will see Steve Brody, Huey Jennings, and Wilbert Robinson, the number 5, 6, 7 hitters for the 1894 Orioles. Brody is hitting 300 with a home run and 10 runs batted in. Ed Conley, with a 1-0 lead, has already whiffed a batter back in the first. Full count on Brody, and this one missing very, very high up around the shoulders. And again, catchers didn't crouch down, so not a surprise to see that one get up there a little high. Steve Brody aboard. Brody with 42 steals. Brody, a long career in baseball. Would actually end up playing into the Deadball Era and would actually be a manager. So here's Huey Jennings, a Hall of Famer. Huey Jennings hitting .378 with 4 runs batted in. Brody at first, 42 steals in 1894 for him. Brody has yet to steal a base in this tournament. Hey, and there is Big Clue. All right, yep. Big Clue, I've been sort of telling you about Shanks 3-0, but if you want to take a little time, I know we don't have a big crowd tonight. I didn't expect one. But if you want to at least put the link, if anybody is interested, maybe just a quick synopsis of how this Shanks League is going to require not a lot of commitment, and it just could be something a little bit more fun. The draft is the centerpiece of the Shanks League. McGreevy League, hopefully Wednesday night, we'll have again a confab. I'll have something from Back to Baseball playing in the background, Game 1 of the 1919 World Series, while we talk about how we want to do the next McGreevy and add some teams into a player pool. All right. Thank you, guys. And Ed Conley deals to Huey Jennings now with one on. And there goes Steve Brody. Gilligan's throw, and Steve Brody is caught stealing. So Pilford 42 in 1894 and caught stealing here today. So his total remains 0. So great play by Providence to erase Brody. So Huey Jennings now bats with 1 out, and the base is empty. And here's the 0-1 to Jennings. Fastball, chopper to third. Jerry Denny with a long throw across the diamond to Joe Start. And that is the second out of the inning. Conley looking to face the minimum, despite giving up the walk. And here's Wilbert Robinson. Robinson having a hell of a tournament. He is hitting .378 with 10 runs batted in, including a home run for Robinson. And there it is in the chat, but I'll read it out for anybody who catches this later. Draft a team of 30 players from 1880 to 2022 on draft night. The league will be simmed pretty much a week after draft night. No participation required other than the draft. And the draft itself will be a random year, and within that year, you will also get a random team. We did a dry run of it the other night, and that epic 5-hour how to spot different trees. And it worked really, really well. So I hope you guys will consider it. Again, it's at most a 3-hour commitment. All right. Ed Conley now deals to Wilbert Robinson. The 1-1 pitch, fastball coming into Robinson. Hard comeback to the mound. This is going to be close. And Conley fielding it nicely from the left side of the hill, but unable to get the speedy Robinson. So they are going to score that one, an infield hit. And that brings up second baseman Heine Reeds now, as Big Clue does continue there with that. So Heine Reeds hitting .314 with 8 runs batted in. Robinson off first, 12 stolen bases in 1894. Conley with the 1-2 delivery, a fastball. This one gets by Barney Gilligan, and getting down to third base on the wild pitch, which they'll score it, is Wilbert Robinson. So the tying run in scoring position with 2 away here in the top of the second inning. Reeds back in now with the count even. The lefty second baseman waits for the Conley delivery, and here it comes. Fastball swung on. Reeds, little chopper to second. Farrell playing in shallow, fires to Joe Start to retire Heine Reeds. So no runs, 1 hit, no errors. Bottom of the second inning, it's the Grays 1 and the Orioles nothing. Robbie says baseball Windows something. Hi Ken, sorry, getting baseball Windows and Diamond Mine set up on a tablet computer. So now Robbie not only picking up a nice computer early in the year, but now a little tablet. There you go. So enjoy there, Robbie. Good stuff. Robbie thinking of going mobile, I guess. All right, Arthur Irwin will lead it off here now for Providence. Jack Farrell and Paul Radford. Looking at Irwin's numbers, hitting just a .160 as a run batted in. All right, Kid Gleason ready to deal. He winds in the 0-2. Fastball, fly ball to center field. Back on it is Brody, and near the crowd behind the ropes in right center field. Makes the catch for out number 1. All right. Striding to the plate now is the Keystone Sacker, Jack Farrell. Cranks and cranklets, and he is hitting .240 in this tournament with 2 runs batted in. A .217 hitter in the 1884 regular season. Kid Gleason waits for the target to be set by Wilbert Robinson, and here it comes. Farrell swinging on the first pitch. Hard ground ball, diving stop, and great throw across the diamond by John McGraw. 2 up, 2 down. Little Napoleon, what a play there at the hot corner. All right, here is right fielder Paul Radford. So Farrell and Radford really need to start producing here, especially Radford. He is sporting only a 190 or a 143, I should say, with no runs batted in. In fact, when Old Hoss Radbourne makes the start, Radbourne is batting ninth, or Radford is batting ninth. Radford is batting ninth. Radbourne is batting eighth. All right, 2 down. Gleason deals the 0-1 to Radford. Radford sends this one down the left field line, back in the corner, and making the catch for his, making the third out. So no runs, no hits, no errors, and after 2 complete, it is still 1-0 to go to the top of the third. And Kid Gleason, Joe Kelly, and John McGraw to bat for Ned Hanlon's Orioles. Conley to the wind in the 0-1 fastball, and this one line to right base hit. Radford up with it, gets it into Farrell. So third base hit here for Baltimore in as many innings. Joe Kelly, now we're back at the top of the order. He struck out back in the first. John McGraw waits on deck. Kid Gleason with only 1 stolen base in 1894. Conley with a check of the runner, and the 0-1 coming home now. Joe Kelly swings, fly ball to left, Cliff Carroll back on it, and he will make the catch in the corner. So 1 away here, and the Baltimore third, and John McGraw comes to the plate now. Little Napoleon singled back in the first. Conley with a check of Gleason, sets and delivers. McGraw cuts in this first pitch, fastball, but right to Jack Farrell. So McGraw hits it on the button, but it gets nowhere but between the hands of Jack Farrell. So 2 away and a runner on first for Dan Bruder's dangerous bat. Nothing for 1 fly to center back in the first. Wiggins sets the target. Conley checks the runner, and the 2-1 to Dan Bruder's. Curveball chopped to short. Arthur Irwin will go to first. Joe Start has the ball, and that retires Bruder's. And the side. We go to the bottom of the third inning. Your score remains Providence 1, Baltimore nothing. So Big Clue putting the link into the to the Discord for the Howie Shanks League. So that's a separate Discord. If you're in the Ned McGreevy League, that doesn't necessarily mean you're in that one. So, but if you are in the McGreevy League and you catch this after, the link is in the chat. So it's going to be within the first half hour of this game. Just go to that timestamp, look at the chat, and please do join. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. All right. Ed Conley now. Conley in this tournament is 1 for 4. And then we swing back the top of the order, and Paul Hines and Joe Stark for the 1884 Providence Grays. Gleason, the 2-1 pitch, and Conley liner. This one will bounce into the seats. So the count now even on Ed Conley. Gleason brings it. Conley swings in this fastball, and a 2-hopper to McGraw at third. This will be close, and Ed Conley beats it out. So hit number 3 for the Grays. Conley getting down the line quickly. Score that one an infield single, and it brings up Paul Hines. We're back to the top of the order. So Ed Conley knows, well, again, we don't know about stolen bases in 1884 as they were not a stat. But numbers showing about a 50-50 chance of a successful steal. Gleason with a check of the runner, and they're looking for the hit and run here. But Gleason brings it There goes Conley. Hines swings, base hit, right field, perfectly executed hit and run. Conley round second, and he will hold up at third. So manager Ken Castro, playing the odds here, knows this 1884 Providence team very, very well. And that brings up Joe Start. Runners at the corners, Paul Hines at first, and Ed Conley at third. So Joe Start in the game. Here we go. Here is the delivery from Gleason from the stretch. And there goes Hines, the throw down by Gilligan, and he is safe. So stolen base for Providence. What's been emblematic for the Providence Nine has been an aggressive running game throughout this tournament. All right, Joe Start back in the box now. And the 0-1 pitch from the stretch to Gleason. Start on this changeup. And just went way too early. So Gleason pulling the string, one down, two in scoring position for Cliff Carroll, who is nothing for one. Sacrifice scoring Paul Hines back in the first. Gleason out of the stretch in the 2-2. Cliff Carroll swings in the curveball. Base hit up the middle. Into scores Ed Conley. Paul Hines was rounding third, but they're going to hold him up. And Providence now in the bottom of the third with a 2-0 lead, leading in hits and runs. Baltimore leading in one category, or two categories, errors and left on base, at 1 and 3 respectively. Providence playing pretty efficiently, only stranding one thus far. As the 2023 Home Run Derby is on, we are playing in the 19th century. I wouldn't have it any other way. All right, so Cliff Carroll at first, Paul Hines at third. Let's look at Carroll. Good lead off first there. And Kid Gleason working out of the stretch. And the 2-0 delivery to Barney Gilligan. Fastball, fly ball, center field. Steve Brody tracking it, and he has it. And tagging and scoring from third is Paul Hines. Brody making a nice play out there. Going back, grabbing the ball, holds on to it, and slams right down into the grass in the center pasture. All right, so a little center field farming out there by Brody. 2 away, it's now 3-0 Providence as the glove goes up. And calling for the steal, Cliff Carroll. Gutsy move with 2 down. Jerry Denny, nothing for 1, just a little ground to the first, back in the first inning. Here is the pitch from Gleason. There goes Cliff Carroll. Robinson throws down. The tag not in time. And Cliff Carroll picks up the steal. So runner in scoring position. Hey, there's Bernard. He's saying hello to everybody, to myself and to the chat. Bernard is doing such a great job doing dead ball baseball. Of course, 1950 baseball, but doing a great job with 1912 and Action PC baseball. So keep it going, Bernard. We are loving it here in the community. I know at least 2 people are loving it. Actually, no more. Joe Murdy is really loving what you're doing. Ken is. I am. So keep it going, Bernard. All right. So successful steal here by Cliff Carroll. And Jerry Denny back in the box. And the 1-0 delivery. Fastball. And swing and a miss. Steve Wright 3. Gleason picks up his second strikeout. However, a big inning for the 1884 Providence Rays. 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors, and 3 complete. And Providence leading 3-0. We are told that the venerable Henry Chadwick is joining us today. Mr. Chadwick, once a cricket aficionado, instantly became hooked on baseball. Chadwick would, of course, go on to grew later on with professional baseball in the 19th century. How the players just weren't playing with the same spirit they were before. But Henry Chadwick, one of the great figures of the game, one of the pioneers. All right, Willie Keeler, Steve Brody, and Huey Jennings due up for these 1894 Orioles. Willie Keeler grounded to first. Ed Conley winds and deals the 3-1 to Keeler, and the 3-1 pitch. So Keeler draws the walk. So Baltimore has had a runner on, whether by hits or in this case, face-off balls in each of the first 3 innings, but unable to capitalize. Conley through the first third of this game, pitching a 3-hit shutout. And so it looks like it's going to be Vlad Jr. versus Randy Arozarena. There we go. In the home run derby fun. So again, I know you guys are all. I'm going to be the only baseball fan not watching the All-Star game tomorrow night because nobody's going to be in here because it is the All-Star game. No baseball on the channel tomorrow night. So I'll be either playing baseball offline or watching a movie. I'm not watching the All-Star game. Just not interested at all. All right. But I hope you guys have fun watching it. I really, really do. Well, if you guys aren't watching, maybe I will come on. So we'll see. I just assume everybody's going to be watching the damn All-Star game. So. All right. I mean, it's fun to see these players and stuff like that, but it's not enough for me to, I'll just catch the highlights. I'll act like an F-ball fan that day. And just catch the highlights. Talk about the commercials. I don't know. All right. Here's the 0-1 to Steve Brody. Brody swings fly ball down the right field line, and tracking it is Paul Radford, making a fine running catch there to the deep part of Messer Street. And getting back to first is Willie Keeler, so 1 down. Conley in a nice groove here as he faces Huey Jennings. Jennings grounded to third back in the second. All right, Conley ready to deal a check on the speedy Keeler. And welcome in, Todd B. And he says, now it begins. As Clinton Parks comes in, Ted B says Ken is going to watch All-Star Corn instead. Clinton Parks is building into digital diamond baseball. There's better things to do. I figured chasing anybody naked in the rain would be more fun. All right, evening, folks. Zing, and there we go. Todd B. Clinton Parks joining us tonight here, pretending this is Messer Street grounds. It's actually Huntington Avenue grounds. All right, so Keeler at first, and here is Ian Jennings. Ed Conley deals, and there goes Keeler. The throw down by Gilligan. Do they got him? The dust settles, and Willie Keeler brushing off that Baltimore Orioles uniform, and he picks up the steal. So runner in scoring position now for the Orioles here at the top of the 4th inning. Huey Jennings back in, and here's the 0-1 pitch. Jennings swings. This one has height. Does it have distance? It does not. Cliff Carroll making the play and left, the tagging and making it to third without a throw. To third is Willie Keeler. So Baltimore's potential first run just 90 feet away, but 2 down for Wilbert Robinson, who's 1 for 1. Infield single back in the second. So Ed Conley set and from the stretch, and the 0-1 twirl. Spitball to Wilbert Robinson, hard ground at first, plenty of time for Joe Stark to trot to the bag unassisted. And these birds are retired. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Once again, the Orioles are turned away, and Conley's 3-hit shutout continues. It is 3-0. Left-hand hitting shortstop Arthur Irwin will lead it off here for Providence in the bottom of the 4th, followed by Jack Farrell and Paul Radford. Irwin, who's 0 for 1, gave it a ride to deep right center. Kid Gleason has struck out 2 in this game. Here it comes. Irwin on this change. Bounding ball to short. Jennings with a quick pick and toss on to Dan Bruthers from the 6-3 put out of Irwin. So 1 away here in the Providence 4th for Jack Farrell. Farrell in the game, grounded out to John McGraw. That was a great play back in the second by John McGraw. Gleason with a 2-1. And curveball chopped to Jennings. And Jennings to Brewers for the textbook 6-3. So 2 up, 2 down here for the Providence Braves. And right fielder Paul Radford flied deep down the left field line. Again, to remind you guys that you play Action PC Baseball. Steve Tate was on earlier today with a very, very superb, deep tutorial, mainly concentrating on ballparks, eras, ballpark assignment, how players, might do, so going over the what if tool. So do check it out, whether you're new to Action PC Baseball or you're a veteran. Steve Tate, he's also, I'm dying for it, he's working on an all-time greats league, and if it's coming from Steve, it's going to be meticulously researched, and it's going to be a must-have. All right. So here we go. Bases empty, 2 away. Gleason deals the 0-2 to Paul Radford. Curveball popped behind the plate. Robinson waits for it to come down. Oh, and just that easy. So they go in order, and we go to the 5th, and it's 3-0. Tiny Reitz starts it off here. Kent Gleason, and then Joe Kelly. So the Baltimore second baseman grounded to Jack Farrell at second. In the second. Ed Conley, the windmill windup, and the 1-2 pitch to Reitz. Fastball, base hit. So here we go. Hines juggling out there in center, boots the ball. Reitz sees it, and he makes his way onto the Keystone sack. So single and an E8. First error committed by Providence in this game. And so it continues for Baltimore, getting the leadoff hitter on in each of the first 4 innings, and now in inning number 5, but unable to capitalize. As big clues, hey, Richard Davis, welcome in, Richard, and John DFW. It definitely is a family program. So, superb stuff. People just don't want to name their kids Heine anymore, so it's time B. And here we go. So Reitz at second, and Heine Reitz with 18 steals for Foxy Ned Hanlon's 1894 Orioles. Ken, perhaps you could put in here, because I didn't check beforehand, and I could have in the rosters but didn't. Who managed this 1884 Braves team? Really appreciate the name. All right, and Conley now deals to Kid Gleason. Gleason bunts in the first pitch. Conley will go to Farrell on the 1-3 putout, and sacrifice successful. Heine Reitz moves to third in the play. 1 down. Baltimore threatening now with a run just 90 feet away. 1 out. The first run of the ball game. And Ed Conley wants to keep the shutout going, facing the dangerous Joe Kelly, who has struck out and flied out deep down the left field line. From the stretch, Ed Conley, the 2-2 pitch to Joe Kelly. And this one gets by Barney Gilligan. It's a wild pitch by Ed Conley. And Heine Reitz will score the first Baltimore run. It is now 3-1. Frank Bancroft, the manager of the 1884 Providence Braves. Thank you, cousin. I always forget to check that, because when you start a game in Action PC, it will show you the manager's name in the roster screen, and I always forget to look over there. Most of the managers I know, so thank you, Frank Bancroft. As Clinton comments, the riff half have arrived. All right, base is empty now. A Baltimore run in. It's 3-1 in favor of Providence. Joe Kelly back in the box, and the full count coming from Ed Conley. And this one swung on, chopped to third, and this one will go foul. All right. Jerry Denny tosses the ball back to Ed Conley. Full count, one away. Here's a delivery to Joe Kelly. Kelly, 3-2 pitch miss. This 3-2 pitch miss fastball. Just a bit inside. So runner aboard, and the tying run comes to the plate. And Little Napoleon, John McGraw, and Joe Kelly with wheels, 46 steals. McGraw 1 for 2, singled, and he is lined to second in this game. As Clinton Park says, put your baseball books down, children. It's trivia time. And there goes Joe Kelly. The throw from Gilligan's not going to get him. Head first slide by Joe Kelly puts him in scoring position. Makes McGraw's job a little bit easier now. McGraw represents the tying run here at the top of the fifth. One run in for Baltimore, thanks to the Ed Conley wild pitch. Conley brings the 1-0 delivery. Fastball. McGraw, chopper to second. Farrell to start for the 4-3 putout. Side, not retired. I'm sorry, it was called side retired. So moving to third of the play is Joe Kelly. Dan Bruthers now. Bruthers is fly to center, grounded to short. Conley does not want Kelly to cross the plate and keep this a 3-1 contest. Conley brings it the 0-2. Dan Bruthers sends this one deep to right field, back on Paul Radford, and he makes the catch for out number 3. So one Baltimore run on a hit. There was one error, so after 4.5, it's the Providence Grays 3 and the Baltimore Orioles 1. Ed Conley will lead it off here for Frank Bancroft's Providence Grays, followed by the top of the order, Paul Hines and Joe Start. Okay, so Eddie Cocky Collins holds one of the Major League Baseball records. Still to this day, which one? And I always love the fact that there are dead ball era players that still with Major League Baseball records. So to those of you in a certain channel that said dead ball baseball doesn't count, Papa goes to that. All right. Ed Conley is 1 for 1, so the pitcher with an infield single back in the third. Gleason winds in an 0-2 pitch, and Conley sends a screamer to right field, and Timo just getting to that ball. Conley getting excellent contact. So that is hit number 6 for the ball for the Providence Grays. And here comes center fielder Paul Hines. He is a perfect 2 for 2 in this game. All right, let's see what Cousin Ken would like to do with a runner on here. It's like reading his mind. Hit and run. So Ken Castro and Frank Bancroft calling for a hit and run here with Ed Conley on first and Hines 2 for 2. Gleason with a check of the runner. Dan Bruthers holding him on at first. Conley now sneaking off first as Gleason has the sign from Wilbur Robinson. And from the high set, here's the pitch. There goes Conley. Hines gets contact on it, grounder up the first base line. Dan Bruthers will take this one unassisted. So score that one a sacrifice. Ed Conley now moves into scoring position for Joe Start. He is nothing for 1. Sacrifice back in the first, struck out in the third. It's not a record these days, but Eddie Collins, one of the great second basemen of all time. Superb contact hitter, base stealer. Collins definitely deserves his place in the Hall of Fame. Richard Davis's sacrifice hits. That could be it. Sacrifice hit is no longer a stat now. What we call a sacrifice is a little bit different. The sacrifice hit is different. So I'm wondering if it is sacrifice hits. There it is, and gentlemen, that's a record that won't be broken by the pure definition of a sacrifice hit. So Richard Davis gets the answer, 512 sacrifice hits by Eddie Collins. Brilliant question. Thank you, Clinton Parks, for that. Always love some good trivia, guys. Right. Way to go, man. That is some serious. That's a seriously tough trivia question. So, that one is one that Eddie Collins will hold in perpetuity. Yep, it can't ever be broken. You're absolutely right. There are some that may never be broken, like DiMaggio's 56 game hitting streak, other records like that. But that is one that we can say with all certainty will never be broken unless there's a rule change in baseball. All right, Jay Conley in second. All right, glad you do. Baseball knowledge is never useless, as Clinton says. If not trivia, I still have no useless knowledge of baseball. There is nothing useless about it. So Clinton, you've probably heard me do this before, but I'll just shoot one back at you. There are two important records that Tris Speaker holds. One is the all-time leader of doubles to this day, but there is something else that Tris Speaker did as a hitter that has never been duplicated in baseball. Besides his all-time doubles. Gleason deals to Joe Start. Runner scoring position. Start swings, base hit right field. Wee Willie Keeler up with it. Conley will round third and hold. Nope, it is not two triples in an inning. Ken says, my wife says his baseball knowledge and everyday knowledge are generally useless. That's crazy. Runners at the corners, one down here. I'm guessing that cousin Ken Castro on the Providence Grace is going to call for a steal for Joe Start to try to stay out of double play, but I'm not going to assume anything yet. Left fielder Cliff Carroll had a sacrifice back in the first that scored Paul Hines, and then an RBI single in the third that scored Ed Conley. So I'm smelling stolen base coming up, but I'm going to wait until the great glove comes up. There it is. Is it going to be a hit and run or a steal? What's it going to be? Steal second. Thought so. Right. Gleason working from the stretch, and we're stealing second only. Here is the delivery. Carroll swings missing the first pitch. The throw down. Joe Start. The slide. The tag by Huey Jennings. Not in time. And again, an aggressive running game by the Providence Grays. Two in scoring position now. Right? So Ed Conley at third, Joe Start at second. First base is open. Cliff Carroll 1 for 2 in the game. 2 RBI in this game for him. Gleason out of the stretch, and the 0-1 to Carroll. Carroll swings, base hit, right field. Keeler up with it into score is Ed Conley. Rounding third and holding is Joe Start. And the Providence Grays now with a 4-1. All right, and coming up now is Barney Gilligan, who is 1 for 2. Nope, so I'll give you a little hint. It has to do with offense. Has to do with offense. All right, let's wait and see what Ken Castro wants to do. Of course, I'm guessing this is going to be a steal. Sound baseball tactics. 1 out in the inning here as we wait for a sign from the dugout, Providence. Hit and run. All right. That's why I don't like to second guess Ken. I would have called straight up steal. He's going to go for a hit and run. Barney Gilligan, 1 for 2. All right, here we go. So back in the first, he singled up the middle, was safe in an outfield error, and has himself a sacrifice back in the third. Gleason from the stretch with Joe Start at third, Cliff Carroll at first. He brings it. And there goes Carroll, and this one a chopper to short. Jennings will go to Reeds, but coming into scores Joe Start with a hard slide by Cliff Carroll will break up that potential double play. But again, thanks to good old small ball tactics, 2 in now for the Providence Grays. and it's a 5-1 lead here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Clinton City would have called for the squeeze. Again, viable play, certainly. Okay, Gilligan now at first. Jerry Denny, nothing for 2. He's grounded to first and struck out. So Jerry Denny now down his batting average as of this at bat at 100. Gleason deals. Jerry Denny. Here's the throw down, and this one is going to get by Reeds. Gilligan will get to third. So that's an E2. And that's the second Baltimore Oriole error in this game. The first committed by Steve Brody in center field. Clinton Parks with 4. Yeah, who's at bat? The skipper. All right, Clinton. Does this mean Clinton has the answer? So again, this question about Tris Speaker has to do with offense and not the fact that he is the all-time leader in. Bring in Esper. Oh, yeah, okay. You want me to? Okay, that's right. You're doing Baltimore. Okay. Thank you for doing those, the multiple hands there. Okay. So Duke Esper will come in to pitch for the Baltimore Orioles. Kid Gleason's day is done. So our preferences back, and here we go. Let's look at Duke Esper's numbers. In 1894, a 3.92 earned run average, and that was a superb ERA for these 1892 Orioles. 10 wins, 2 losses, 2 saves. Worked 101 innings. Walked 36, struck out 25. The National League hit 276 against Esper in 1894. A whip of 1.416. 2 out. Barney Gilligan just 90 feet away at third. Esper has finished his warm-up tosses. The southpaw ready to go. Has a sign from Wilbur Robinson. And out of the stretch in the 0-1 to Jerry Denny. Curveball. And Jerry Denny, big whip and a miss. But 2 Providence runs on 3 hits, 1 error. 5 in the books here at Messer Street Field. And it's the Providence Grays 5, the Baltimore Orioles 1. And the answer to the Tris Speaker question is, he is the only player in Major League Baseball history to have, in the same season, he had 3 20-plus consecutive hitting streaks, consecutive game hitting streaks. He is the only one. So, perhaps I think a record that will never be broken either by Tris Speaker. I think his doubles record may be broken at some point, but that one I don't see it. So, at 3 different times, I can't remember the season right now. As I'm a little tired, but the only player in Major League Baseball to have accomplished that feat. Of course, as we know, Joe DiMaggio, after his 56-game hitting streak was snapped, and he started another one. I think it was 19, 20 games or something like that. Tris Speaker, the only one to have 3 20-plus hitting streaks in the same baseball season. Big Clue says Speaker has the fewest career strikeouts of any player with 3,500 career hits. That's crazy. Big Clue telling us that Vlad Jr. wins the home run derby. So father and son trivia, since his father did too. Very nice. Well, nice. Okay, here we go. Wee Willie Keeler, nothing for 1, leading it off here in the 6th. He's grounded to first and walked. Conley deals. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Keeler. Change up. Keeler, base hit center field. And here comes Baltimore once again. Getting that leadoff runner aboard, and Keeler is fast. All right, Steve Brody, but Ed Conley working with a 4-run lead here. So Brody has walked and flied out in this game. Ed Conley has the sign from Barney Gilligan. Here's the 1-2 delivery. And swung on by Brody. Brody is going to go to Farrell. Farrell on the pivot to Joe Start. And just like that, a 6-4-3 put out. So 2 outs, bases empty. Doff the cap from Ed Conley to Arthur Irwin and Jack Farrell. Yeah, 5 runs, truly, 5 runs are never enough in this tournament. We saw that especially between the White Stockings and the Orioles. Oh man, I just want to go back and play those two teams again. Those were fun. And those 1885 White Stockings will be back as all the players in this tournament will be released into a draft pool for the next version of the Ned McGreevy League. And we'll be adding probably 4 or 5 more teams from the dead ball era. And so that we don't have to worry about doppelgangers. So that way we can bring in the 1904 Highlanders, the 1899 Superbas, if we're going to use the Howie Shanks rule. So if somebody ends up getting a version of Wee Willie Keeler, Keeler is no longer available then. So that way we can bring in some more dead ball teams. I'd like to bring in the 1906 Chicago White Sox Hitless Wonders, things like that. So, but that's Wednesday night. We can talk about that. So Ken, I hope you can make it Wednesday. Or maybe it's, you know what, maybe tomorrow night instead of a game, if you're not going to be watching the All-Star game and you feel like talking some 19th century and dead ball, we'll do the planning tomorrow night, and I'll use back to baseball, and we'll have game 1 of the 1919 World Series going on in the background. And that'll be kind of fun. Back to baseball, adding more and more. The last time I looked on there, they were going back to 1994 or 1924. Now they're back to at least World Series and 1919 for the White Sox. So good stuff. All right, good. Ken, I really, really will appreciate your input. Clinton, I know you're going to be busy with Digital Diamond. If you want to stop in, please do. Big Clue, of course. Need some good baseball minds to see what we can do with this one. I don't want to do a Shanks type draft in it, though. I really want this to be just, you know, you're up, draft a player, but I think maybe we'll do a serpentine draft this time or something. Speaker also had the fewest 100 RBI season just to any player with 15 or more than 1,500 RBI in his career. How about that? Speaker, what an amazing player he was, huh? Defensively, offensively. All right. So 2 down, thanks to that big double play. It was initiated by Arthur Irwin to Jack Farrell to Joe Start. Huey Jennings now, he is grounded out and gave it a ride to very deep left. Conley with the 0-2 to Jennings, curveball, and Jennings base hit this one past Arthur Irwin into left field. Carroll up with it, gets it in to the cutoff man. So Huey Jennings aboard, known as a base stealer in 1894 with 37. Wilbert Robinson on the day is 1 for 2. Infield single, grounded to first. Conley with a check of the speedy Jennings. And throws over. Jennings dives back, and he is safe. Conley brings the 2-2 pitch now to Wilbert Robinson. Fastball. Robinson swings. Hard ground ball. But Arthur Irwin handling it easily. The 6-3 put out to retire Robinson and the side. And the Baltimore Orioles turned away. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. To the bottom of the 6th we go here at Messer Street Field in Providence, Rhode Island. They decided doing an impersonation of Huntington Avenue grounds in Boston. Your score, the Providence Grays 5, the Baltimore Orioles 1. Providence looking to even up this series. They're down 1 game to nothing. Big Clue. Continuing with some trivia here. Old-timey baseball on this channel. That's what we're about. He says, did you know that the 1920-1921 Indians featured a rookie backup center fielder behind Speaker? And that was Tex Jeans, I guess I'm saying it. He was Speaker's nephew, 12 years younger. Wow. It could be Jean. I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name, but nice. Conley, the kid from Holy Cross University. Good Catholic boy there, huh? Sorry for coughing here, guys. Didn't hit the mute button in time, but at least I'm recovering. All right, Arthur Irwin will lead it off here for Providence, followed by Jack Farrell and Paul Radford. Irwin in the game has flied out and grounded to short. Duke Esper on in relief now of Kid Gleason. And the southpaw with the 1-1 base hit right field, and going for two is Arthur Irwin. He slides. Jennings' tag is not in time, and Arthur Irwin flying around the bases, slided to second with a lead-off double. So potential run number 6 for the Grays in scoring position, and striding to the plate is Jack Farrell. And what a great picture of Duke Esper. And I know Steve likes to colorize these pictures, which I think some of them look cool. I don't like to do that with the 19th century players. I think it just adds to the ambiance. But look at that. I mean, once again, here would be another one of the 19th century players. Show me what a 19th century player looked like. There you go. Look at that. That is just brilliant. What a great picture. All right. And Providence calling for a sacrifice. All right. Esper checks Irwin at second. And here from the high set, the twirl. And good bunt by Farrell, and that one is going to be an error. Wilbert Robinson had the ball, tried to make the throw to first, and dropped the ball. So Farrell now aboard thanks to the E2. And for Baltimore, that is error number 3. So 2 by Wilbert Robinson and 1 by Steve Brody in this game. And Providence in the catbird seat here with Arthur Irwin at third and Jack Farrell, Duke Farrell, another 19th century player, and Jack Farrell at first. And here comes the glove again. Again, thanks guys for coming in. 9 people watching 19th century baseball. Appreciate it. Okay. Pinch hit for Radford and wait, what? So Radbourne is going to pinch hit. Okay. Old Haas coming in. And then Radford is staying in right field then. Nice thing about Old Haas is then in the later innings you can move from right field to pitcher. So, all right. Here we go. Runners at the corners, nobody out. I'm not seeing anything else. Let's see what Ken is going to call here for Jack Farrell. And remember, Clinton, when this moves to Baltimore and you're on, you've got home managing duties. So we won't be returning to this one for a few days. The next time we return to this tournament, it will be the 1907 Cubs and the 1908 Naps. Yankees hire Sean Casey as a hitting coach. First baseman who couldn't avoid outs or hit for power. Good move, Yankees. Please let Casey tweak Judge's swing. You know what? He might be a fine hitting coach. I mean, you and I talked about this on our long call the other day, Big Clue, how it was sort of remarkable that guys that didn't make it to the majors were superb managers, and other guys who are not very good pitchers or hitters made fantastic hitting and pitching coaches. I cite Ray Miller as one of those. Pirates. Ray Miller, excellent pitching coach. Ted Williams apparently was not a very good hitting coach. So, I don't know. I think that's interesting. Sean Casey may do a great job. You don't want to use Ken's glove. It might be right. All right. So, Ken Castro saying hit away, and indeed we shall. All right, Duke Esper works from the stretch now. And there goes Farrell. The throw down is not in time. And Farrell going of his own accord. An interesting thing about John McGraw as a manager, while we're talking about this runner going without a called steal, many under the impression that John McGraw was sort of a micromanager. He was not. According to many reviews that I've read from his players and research that I've done, that McGraw wouldn't come down on you for a physical error in the game, but he would for mental errors. He trusted his players to steal when they felt it was right to steal, and hit away, what have you. Of course, at times, McGraw would say, this is what you've got to do, and we've talked about this a few times, that McGraw actually fined a player for hitting a home run. But McGraw, I think that was part of his greatness as a manager, to trust his players. And McGraw is Big Clue. He talked about when Big Clue brings this up. One of the keenest minds in 19th century baseball, one of the great managers in dead ball baseball, and live baseball, modern baseball. So McGraw, one of the three greatest managers of all time. I just wanted to share that about John McGraw. Jack Farrell stealing just made me think of that. Probably should have saved it, but the Giants are out of this tournament, so what else could I do? All right. And here's Haas Radbourn making his first plate appearance, but how is he doing as a hitter? He is just 1 for 14. But I think that both Frank Bancroft and Ken Castro have other plans for the redoubtable Haas Radbourn. Here's the 0-1 from the stretch to Charlie Radbourn. Curveball. And this one in there for called strike 3. So one away. Runners remain in scoring position. Arthur Irwin at third. Duke Farrell at second. For the kid from Holy Cross, Ed Conley. Field in at the corners. John McGraw at third. Dan Bruthers at first. Now, I've heard different people. Some people say it's pronounced Bruthers. Others say it's Brothers. So, scholars in the chat, which do you think it is? Since none of us have ever actually heard it pronounced. Esper from the stretch and the 1-0 to Conley. Spitball, little chopper up to first and running over it. Making the play is Duke Esper for the second out. So, neither is wrong. Neither wrong, says Cliff Parks. So since I've called him Dan Bruthers all my life, I will continue calling him Dan Bruthers. Charlie Lau, exactly. Yep. At least Sean Casey can afford to now get a grown man's haircut. Says. So, okay, Big Clue saying it's Bruthers. So, okay, I'm going to stay with Bruthers. All right, 2 in scoring position, 2 down. Paul Hines would like to get something done here in this at bat. He is 2 for 3. He'd like to add an RBI to his credit today. Esper from the stretch in the 1-1 pitch. Paul Hines fastball. This one hard ground ball to McGraw at third. McGraw's throw is not in time, and it's a bad throw. Goes offline. Bruthers able to keep it close by him, but coming in to score is Arthur Irwin. That's an E5, error number 4 for the Orioles. And the Providence Grays now leading 6-1. With 2 out and runners still at the corners. Jack Farrell at third. Paul Hines at first for Joe Start. Who's 1 for 2 in this game. Single back in the 5th. Esper brings it. Start swings, fly ball, center field. Steve Brody camps under it for out number 3. However, 1 run, 1 hit, 2 Baltimore errors in the inning. And 6 gone here now at Messer Street. And it's the Providence Grays of 1884-6. The Baltimore Orioles of 1894-1. And when's my next broadcast? Well, again, I mean, I wasn't going to do a game tomorrow night because I just assumed that everybody's going to be watching the All-Star game. So tomorrow night will be a broadcast, but it'll be kind of just talking about McGreevy 2.0. So it looks like tomorrow evening with the 1919 World Series being played out in Back to Baseball, a great website in the background. So something for people to watch. Frank Bancroft, of course, had his greatest influence as Big Blue on the 1879 barnstorming team of Cuba, first ever. Widely credited as the fulcrum that started pro ball in Cuba itself. was the start of a rich tradition of U.S.-Cuban international play. Well, that'd be really something to see that starting up again. Things have loosened up, so we shall see. Thank you for that. I never knew that about Frank Bancroft. You know, my sort of credit for that sort of thing, I always thought it was Albert Goodwill Spalding. So thank you, Big Clue. And hopefully Ken will be getting to that Spalding's World Tour at some point. I know that he will. At some point, we'll be looking forward. Oh, and we need a right fielder, Cousin Ken. We need a right fielder in here. Oh, it's gonna be Radbourn. That's right. All right, so Old Hoss Radbourn will assume duties out there, squatting in right field. And Heine Reeds now will lead it off here in the seventh. Already got you, Ken. We got that. Tubby says, why is it when you're tired, the game you're playing always goes into extra innings? Isn't that the truth? The other night when I was still dying in the midst of this flu or whatever the hell I had, I thought that game was going to go into extras. I was dying here, but we got through it. All right. So, will Baltimore get the leadoff runner on again? They have done it in every inning thus far, the first 6. Conley deals the 2-0. Reed swings. Bounding ball to first. Joe Start trots to first. And first time Baltimore does not get the leadoff runner on. So 1 up, 1 down. And here's pitcher Duke Esper making his first plate appearance in this tournament. Well, Todd, I would hope it's not going to go. Oh, you mean the one you're. I was going to say if it's the one you're playing. So when I'm playing, it's 6-1. If it turns into a tie, then we got some voodoo going on. All right, Conley deals now to Esper. Esper swings in the 2-0 pitch. This one grounded to first. Joe Start on to Ed Conley for the 3-1 putout. So 2 quick outs here in the top of the 7th inning. And we get back to the top of this Baltimore Oriole order. And left fielder Joe Kelly has struck out, flat out, and walked. I'm glad you took a good sleep, man. Good sleep. Well, there is one other thing better than a good sleep. But all right. Conley looking for a 1-2-3 here to Joe Kelly. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Curveball. Kelly swings, and this one's going to go for extra bases. It's into the crowd, and Kelly is going to go to third. So triple for Joe Kelly and the potential second Baltimore Oriole run 90 feet away from Napoleon, and there he is 1 for 3. Conley working from the stretch now. McGraw, first pitch swinging, grounder deep to short. Arthur Irwin on to Joe Start, and again the Baltimore Orioles are turned away. 7th inning, stretch time is 6-1 in favor of Providence. All right, welcome back. Bottom of the 7th, we go. And the Providence Grays winning a commanding 6-run lead. So the line for the Grays coming into the bottom of the 7th. 6 runs, 9 hits, 1 error, 5 left on base. For the Baltimore Orioles, 1 run, 7 hits, 4 errors, and 7 left. Looking at the pitching line for Duke Esper on in relief of Kid Gleason. He's worked 1 1/3, given up a hit, and has struck out 2. The only scoring by the Baltimore Orioles is back in the 5th inning. And that was a wild pitch that Heine Reeds was able to score. That was it. The Providence Grays scored 1 in the first, 2 in the third, and 2 in the fifth, 1 in the sixth. And just to remind Action PC players that when you hover up here, you get a recap of every inning. I've never seen a baseball game that does that in game. I think it's beautiful. All right, Cliff Carroll. What a day has Cliff Carroll had. He is 2 for 3. And guess what? 3 RBI on the day. All right. Southpaw Esper to deal. 3-1 pitch. And this one, way high up there, almost at eye level. And Cliff Carroll's aboard, and we will hold on for Providence manager Ken Castro. Frank Bancroft taking the day off. In fact, handing over managerial duties to Ken Castro, the Portuguese wonder that he is. The clue says Bancroft also shepherded opening day as a festivity. Yes, while with the Reds. An appropriate term, doubleheader for baseball. Damn. All right, hit and run. So Frank Bancroft, I guess I need to do a little bit more reading. I mean, the other Bancroft I know is a Hall of Famer. Beauty Bancroft, of course, but I guess I need to read more about Frank Bancroft. What a pioneer. Is he a Hall of Famer? Big clue. Signed the first Cubanos to play in Major League Baseball in the 1900s. Is he in there as a pioneer? Big clue. He should be. And they also treat him as the first GM. This guy's got it. Frank Bancroft has to be in the Hall of Fame. Please tell me he's in the Hall of Fame. Definitely should be in there as a pioneer. I mean, Morgan Bulkley's in there for a pioneer. He didn't do squat. He is not. He's not in Cooperstown, but way back in the day, Morgan Bulkley. So guys, you can look him up. He did nothing. He was president of the National League in name only. And as Bill James writes, sorry, he actually quoted him, sorry, Bulks. Again, so Bancroft was running the Reds front office in 1919 and received a World Series ring, by the way. So why is this pioneer not in, but Morgan Bulkley is? Bulkley credited as the first president of the National League, but again, that was in name only. The Hall of Fame is weird, man. All right, Ken calling for a hit and run. All right, Barney Gilligan is 1 for 3. Here's the delivery from Duke Esper. Carroll off to the races. Gilligan does not swing. Didn't get one that he liked, but Cliff Carroll nonetheless picks up the stolen base. So runner in scoring position, the count 0-1. Does Ken want to try another hit and run with a runner in scoring position? I'm going to wait and see. I don't understand how Frank Bancroft is not a pioneer in Cooperstown. I guess letter writing campaigns to the Baseball Hall of Fame Museum and Library probably. Speaking of other deserving pioneers, yeah, I know, right? Al Reach, O.P. Kaler, Chris Von der Ahe, yep, Harry Stevens, Nicholas Young, to name a few. Yeah, Nick Young. Of course, reading about Nick Young. Yeah, baseball in the Garden of Eden. All right, so Ken calling for a sacrifice. Esper brings it. Gilligan gets a good bunt down. Brewler's up with his only place to Heine Reed's covering, and moving to third on the sacrifice is Cliff Carroll. Potential 7th run for the 1884 Grays, now just 90 feet away. Jerry Denny, just absolutely awful in this tournament. So while he has managed a home run and 5 runs batted in, as of this bat, Jerry Denny is at 0.97. So he's grounded at first and struck out twice in this game. I'm doubting Cousin Ken is going to be calling for a sacrifice at this point. So Clinton says, oh, yeah, then as now, yeah, they're not brainiacs now either. The first 9 players elected were Connie Mack, John McGraw, Morgan Bulkley, and Van Johnson, and George Wright. So brother Harry, that's exactly 1937. So good job, except for Bulkley. May your memory be eternal, Morgan, but there you are. The next year, they induct Alexander Cartwright at a time when they're building a museum there precisely because of the Doubleday myth. Isn't that funny? And of course, if you read Baseball in the Garden of Eden, there's actually a compelling case that really Cartwright might not deserve. I don't know. Baseball's origin myths are amazing. So isn't that funny? Of course, Abner Doubleday, thankfully, not in there. All right, Carroll at third, Esper from the stretch, and the 1-1 pitch to Jerry Denny. And this one, ground ball to third, and McGraw is going to go to first. Will he get Jerry Denny? No, it's a throwing error on McGraw. And this ball, again, thanks to Dan Bruther's fine glove work, able to keep the ball near him, but in to score is Cliff Carroll, and it's 7-1. Yep, I've read about, yep, look up Doc Adams, exactly. Todd B says, hits a walk-off single in the bottom of the 11th. The 1980 Astros defeat the 1979 Expos 5-4. Joe Morgan earlier hit a 2-run tater to put Houston in front 4-1 in the 8th. Great game, great game. Yeah, John Thorne, of course, the writer of Baseball in the Garden of Eden. It's good stuff. All right, Jerry Denny at first. Still only one out here as shortstop Arthur Irwin doubled back in the 6th. And looks like there's going to be a steal here. Denny aggressive lead off first. Southpaw Esper with the pitch to Arthur Irwin. There goes Jerry Denny. And Wilbert Robinson will not make a throw. So Jerry Denny steals second, uncontested, runner in scoring position. One in here in the bottom of the 7th for the Providence Grays. 79 Expos, who are a good team, Todd says, are disappointing in this league. Esper deals the 0-1. And this one chopped up the middle. Heine Reitz on the off-balance peg to Dan Bruce to retire Arthur Irwin for out number 2. Moving to third is Jerry Denny. And Jack Farrell now will have a go. Farrell 0 for 2 in the contest. Was safe on an error in the 6th. But Farrell not getting it out of the infield in today's contest. From the stretch in the 0-1 to Farrell. Farrell grounded to short. And this should be Jennings to Bruthers to retire the side. Indeed it is. But another Providence run, 1 hit, 1 error. So that's error number 5 for the Baltimore Orioles of 1894. We have played 7 here at Mercer Street, and it's Providence 7 and Baltimore 1. Still have some hardcores hanging in here with 19th century baseball. Dan Bruthers will lead her off here for the Baltimore Orioles. The number 3, 4, 5 hitters, Bruthers, Keeler, and Steve Brody. So Baltimore leading in errors 5-1 and left on base at 7-6. The Grays leading in the better categories, if you will, columns. 7-1 in runs, 9-7 in hits. Conley deals 3-1, and ball 4 misses. So here we go. Baltimore getting the runner on after missing doing that in the 6th. Dan Bruthers on at first. Keeler just 1 for 2 today with a walk. Conley checks the runner. Here's the pitch to Keeler. Fastball, sky to center field, medium deep. Paul Hines had it played almost perfectly. 1 up, 1 down, and scampering back to first, the redoubtable Dan Bruthers. Steve Brody, nothing for 2, including the walk. And Conley has the sign from Barney Gilligan. Here's the pitch. And Brody swings, and this one's going to be Farrell to Irwin to start for the inning-ending double play. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It's the Providence Grays 7 and the Baltimore Orioles 1. And let me get to this article. Thank you. Doc Adams Baseball Pioneer. So, guys, there's a link in there. Please do read. I'm going to leave this up and read it afterwards. It's not a very long read at all. It's good. Forefathers of baseball. This was an essay written by John Thorne. He says here, I'm not going to read the essay. I just this first sentence. John Thorne, of course, baseball's historian, official historian. Following essay formed the basis of historian John Thorne's remarks to the Smithsonian Institute on 14 July 2005. And if there is somebody that knows his baseball, it's certainly John Thorne. Back to game action here now. Old Hoss Radbourn will lead it off here, so he is the number 8 hitter, followed by Ed Conley and then Paul Hines. Radbourn 0 for 1. He's on in relief now. Struck out back in the 6th. Clinton Park says, bring in William Clark to catch. Okay. Wilbert Robinson's day is done. And Boiler Yard, gotta love those nicknames. So Boiler Yard Clark will come in to catch for the Baltimore Orioles. All right, here's Old Hoss Radbourn now ready to face Duke Esper. And here is the 1-1 pitch. Radbourn, chop and ground ball to third. Draw up with one. 5-3 putout. Went up, one down. All right, here's Ed Conley. He's pitching a fine game. Just 7 hits, 1 run surrendered, and that one not earned. So technically a shutout. And to add to that, Ed Conley, and here we go, looks like a college kid there, definitely. Ed Conley with 2 singles. Esper deals to him. Here's the 1-2. Curveball in there. Strike 3 called. So 2 up, 2 down for center fielder Paul Hines. Paul Hines 2 for 4 today. Back in the 6th, he was safe in a throwing error. Arthur Irwin able to score. Esper brings the 1-0 delivery. Hines swings, popped on the infield. Calling for it is Heine Reitz. And he brings it down. So an unremarkable 8th for the Providence Grays after scoring once each in the 5th, 6th, and 7th. And add that to 1 in the 1st and 2 in the 3rd. We go to the 9th. The Baltimore Orioles need to make up 6 runs here, or Providence evens it up. And they will send Huey Jennings. New catcher, Clark, and then Boiler Clark and Heine Reitz to bat. Hit the butt, you punks. Thank you, Todd B. I appreciate you so much. Kindly deals to Eon Jennings. Here's the 3-1. Ball, this fastball, this one missing. This one again, up and tight. So Jennings aboard. 37 steals in 1894. And Boiler York Clark, so making his first plate appearance in this tournament, but looking at his numbers in 1894 for Ned Hanlon. Hit 240 with a home run, 19 runs batted in. Jennings, a good leadoff first. Ed Conley with a check of the runner, and the 0-2 delivery to Boiler Yard. And this one, oof. That one in the dirt. Barney Gilligan able to keep that ball in front of him. As Todd B's losing his head over there. Very nice. Very nice. Is that the Frankenberry dude? Because I demand Count Chocula. Todd B is our resident David Baseball Demos when David Baseball Demos is not here. All right, the 1-2 pitch coming now to Boiler Yard Clark. And this one grounded to short. Irwin's only play is going to be to Joe Start at first, as Jennings had a good jump on that ball. So 1 out, Baltimore with a runner in scoring position for Heine Reitz. So Reed's in the game, 1 for 3, singled back in the 5th. Conley pitches, and this one getting by Barney Gilligan, and this one is a wild pitch on Ed Conley. Potential second run for Baltimore, now at third base. Reed's back in the box, and the 1-0 from Ed Conley. Swung on, and this one will be extra bases. Squirts to right field. Old Hoss Radborn has it. Throws, hits Jack Farrell, the cutoff man. Farrell's throw to Denny in third, not in time. It's a triple and an RBI, and the Baltimore Orioles score their first run since the 5th. It is now 7-2. Cousin Ken Castro going up with the glove. We might be a little too late there, but let's see as Duke Esper steps in. I have a feeling I know what's going on. Hey, Dan Burke. Good to see you. Hope all is well with you. Dan Burke, an aficionado of baseball for Windows. And it is about time for a baseball for Windows game, by the way. So. A mound visit to Ed Conley. The mound trip says that Conley is strong, cousin. As far as who you have here, you got a couple right fielders, but you have on the around the bullpen, you have Cyclone Miller and Charlie Sweeney. Do you want to stay with Conley? Todd B says he could go for a goal twist right now, but he he's digressing. Again, waiting to see what. Okay, Conley staying in the game. All right, he'll be working out of the stretch here with Duke Esper. And I see nothing from the Baltimore manager calling for a pinch hitter, so. Conley deals the 0-1 pitch. Esper swings, fly ball center field, shallow center. Paul Hines has it, but tagging is Heine Reeds. He will score the third Baltimore run. It's 2 out now, and we're back to the top of the order. Joe Kelly, and back in the 7th, he tripled, so Kelly is 1 for 3, plus a walk. So the Providence Grays on the cusp of evening this best of 7, 1 game apiece. Batting with the bases empty, Conley wheels and deals, and a swing and a miss. Gilligan drops the ball, and Joe Kelly winds up at first. So that brings up John McGraw, and this game is not over yet. McGraw in the game is 1 for 4. Last time up, grounded to short. And from the set, the 1-2 delivery to John McGraw. McGraw swings. This one line foul. Count 1 and 2, and Cousin Ken calling for a pitch out. We'll see if you still want to pitch out on 1 and 2. McGraw steps out of the box, tying up his blue laces. Do they even make those 2 cereals anymore? Quisp, Quake, all that stuff. Was there something in the 70s that they had this another pitch out? Okay, that they had this sort of big rivalry between Quisp and Quake or something? I guess some marketing thing. All right. Anyhow, could be singling a pitch out here. Kelly, an aggressive base stealer, aggressive lead off first. Conley checks the runner. Here's the pitch. And pitch out, nothing doing. As Todd B says, Christmas boy is an alien. Big Clear retorts with, explains your fondness. You two from the same home planet. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. The count 2 and 2 here. Pick off, pitch out, or just pitch there, cousin Ken, aggressively or whatever. Todd B says he ate a ton of crap cereals in the 1970s to get those 3D cards from Kellogg's. All right, just pitch. Big like anything's ever on topic here, but yeah, like, as if the cereal wasn't, right? So let me just interject something different, an off topic here, says Big Clue. He absolutely loathes, in caps, every team gets a representative in the All-Star game rule. I agree with you, which is one of the reasons I just lost. The All-Star game is just whatever. All right, so this is going to be a straight-up pitch. Here's a delivery from Ed Conley, the 2-2, and that's ball 4 to John McGraw. It's starting to get a little bit interesting as Dan Bruther steps to the plate, and he is a big, big bat. Bruthers, though, today, nothing for 3, including a walk. What does manager Castro wish to do here as Dan Bruther steps in? And Dan Bruthers, in this tournament, does have 2 home runs. So swing of the bat, and Baltimore is right back in this game. Big Clue says, go with me in a time machine. Back in time to 1911. Friends. I'd love to. Let's go back to 1911. $100,000 infield of Cornelius McGillicuddy. And New York Giants team. So many cool things in 1911. And still no World War I, so that was kind of nice. Right? Wow, if the world knew what was coming. All right, here we go. Conley deals the 0-1. Bruther swings, chopper up the middle. This should end it, and it does. As Jack Farrell fires on to Joe Stark, and the Providence Rays even up this series 1 game apiece. 7-3 victory, and still a recap first. Let's see what's going on here with our 1911 time machine here. Big Clue says defending National League batting champ Sherry McGee breaks umpire Bill Finneran's jaw after disputing a 3rd strike call. The Phillies outfielder is initially suspended by the team owner Horace Fogel for the balance of the season, but he's reinstalled 36 games later after he claims he was in the midst of an epileptic seizure when he struck Finneran. Wow. Dwayne Martz says, great job. Thank you, Dwayne. Oh my God. That is hilarious. and an epileptic seizure when he strikes the umpire. Oh my God. And breaks his jaw. Because of course when you're in the middle of a grand mal seizure, you're going to be able to just bust someone's jaw, right? Okay, so let's look at the line score and all the other fun stuff here. For the victorious Providence Grays, 7 runs, 9 hits, and 1 error. For the 18, I don't know why it's saying 18. Oh yeah, the 1894 Baltimore Orioles, 3 runs, 8 hits, and 5 errors. Kid Gleason tagged with a loss. He will go to 2-1 in this tournament, and Ed Conley goes to 2-0. Highlights for Baltimore in a losing cause. Heine Reeds goes 2 for 4 with a triple, and Joe Kelly 1 for 4 with a triple and a stolen base. For the Providence Grays, Ed Conley, who should get MVP, by the way, goes 2 for 4. Paul Hines 2 for 4 with a double and a stolen base, and Cliff Carroll 2 for 3 with 2 runs batted in. And as far as extra base hits go, we had 2 doubles by Providence, 1 by Paul Hines, 1 by Arthur Irwin. No triples, but 1 for the Baltimore Orioles, and that was by Joe Kelly. No home runs in this game. Let's look at pitching. Kid Gleason got the start for the Baltimore Orioles, went 4 2/3, 8 hits, 5 runs, all earned, and struck out 2. So an ERA of 6-5 for Kid Gleason. Duke Esper tapped to come on in relief. He worked 3 1/3, gave up one hit, 2 runs. That run, there was only one of those runs was earned. Walked one, struck out 3. And for Ed Conley, goes the distance, 8 hits, 3 runs, all earned. Walked 6, struck out 2. But he won, and that's what counts. Let's look at our miscellaneous here. And aggressive base running. Both teams today give the edge to Providence with more stolen bases. It looks like 6 of them to 3. So John McGraw, Wee Willie Keeler, and Joe Kelly steals for the Orioles. And then we have Hines, Carroll, Start, Gilligan, Farrell, Carroll again, and Jerry Denny. Steve Brody was caught stealing. RBI in this game. Duke Esper picks up one. Heine Reitz with an RBI. For Providence, Cliff Carroll with 3. Barney Gilligan with 2. Sacrifice hits. Gleason, Farrell, Gilligan, and Start each with 1. So Ed Conley with 4 wild pitches in this tournament. 3 of those coming today. Barney Gilligan with a pass ball. Brody and McGraw each with great plays. McGraw and Reitz with poor plays. Baltimore against stranding 9. Providence stranded 6. The Grays turned a double play. The game-winning RBI, Cliff Carroll, and the MVP, Cliff Carroll. I'm going to give co-MVP to Ed Conley. All right, let's look at our playoff bracket and how things stand as each of these series will move to the other. So Baltimore and Providence tied at 1 game each, and it'll be a few days till we return to that one. When we return to this tournament, which will probably be, let's see, what is this? It'll be Wednesday night. The 1907 Chicago Cubs, who have just been so dominant, with a 2-game to nothing lead over the Cleveland Navs. So tomorrow night, people come in. You have the 1919 series playing in the background at backtobaseball.com. Game 1. So you get to see Eddie Cicotte in that famous first pitch of the 1919 World Series. It was kind of, so I was looking at it a little bit earlier, and that first pitch, I'm like, damn, oh, this is cool. So we'll just wait and do it tomorrow. Game 1 of the 1919 World Series, while we talk about Ned McGrady pick some extra teams to add on to here. We can add a number of teams and have a hell of a nice draft pool and see some new players as well. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, that is exactly the year when I wrote Sherry Baby. The song was originally about the Phillies slugger. Yeah, absolutely. You got it. Bernard, see you tomorrow. Hope you have a broadcast coming up. And hey, we're done, guys. We are done. We are done. We are done. This is a short one. It is 11:36 Eastern Daylight Time. I will probably put a Baseball for Windows game on in the background because I can't be arsed to hook up the PlayStation thing and do um, whatever. So we haven't done Baseball for Windows in a little while. So thank you one and all for coming in tonight. It was a lot of fun, and having this many people in a 19th century game is something pretty damned special and spectacular. Thanks, guys. Clint Parks says, take care. Still have a job to go to, damn it. Yeah, well, I got to do it next Tuesday. Although hopefully I have another big interview coming up with a couple other places. My thank you to the Professor Clinton Parks, to our version of both bots in Mystery Science Theater 3000. Todd B., hope you're doing well, my friend. The Scholar, Big Clue. Bernard Strom, who's tearing it up and learning dead ball and doing 2 great replays. 3, actually, but 1950s Red Sox and the 1912 Red Sox. Subscribe to that channel, please. Dwayne Mart's YouTube network, another excellent one. Got to finally catch his some content from him. Just really, really a lot of fun. Digital Diamond Baseball. Check that out. Dan Burke, always good to have you in here. Dan Burke, a fellow fan of Baseball for Windows and knows his baseball and got the who was it got the big trivia here tonight was earlier. I think it was Richard Davis got the killer trivia question that was brought down by Dr. Parks, and indeed, it was about Eddie Collins. So Richard Davis answering it. It was a record still held today by Eddie Collins, and it was sacrifice hits 512. And because of the definition of sacrifice hit, that is a record that indeed will never be broken. Thank you, Richard. Your third time in, you get a wrench. This is your second time, so it'll be your third when we see you again. And John DFW was here with us tonight at Zibal Orchard, Bernard, as we've already mentioned. Robbie Wartberg, who is off doing whatever he's doing, but thanks for coming in, Robbie. Appreciate you. And there we go. Ken Castro first in the ballpark tonight. Tomorrow in the morning, it's going to be Camnitz versus Carl Hubble in Appa Bats. Wow, what a lineup that would be. I'm so tempted, Cousin Ken, to reproduce that in Action PC Baseball, but I don't know. I don't know. It'd be interesting because I also want to put it in Baseball for Windows, but I'm already doing such a big original franchise All Stars in that. But I'm looking at that PDF like, oh, I want to do something with this, but yeah. All right, guys. Thank you. Live baseball, love it, breathe it, study it, digital it, cards and dice it. And for those of you watching the All Star game tomorrow night, I hope you enjoy it. For those of you that will be joining me for a kind of planning confab, if you will, of McGreevy 2.0, look forward to seeing you tomorrow night. And who knows, maybe we just get into a nice little baseball chat. Maybe occasionally looking on the All Star game just to see what the hell's going on. As the New York Giants are flying in the National League, ooh, so tempted to recreate that in Action PC or out of the park baseball. I want to do something with out of the park baseball beyond what I've been doing. All right, I'll be looking for you, cuz. Till then, guys, I will see you around the batting cage. All right, good night. Oh, I'm sorry. Coming up is a baseball for Windows game, but you won't hear my voice the rest of the night. Take care, guys.